Hi, this is Joel from 3D Part Factory. Thanks for tuning in to our Polymaker Polydryer review. I just bought this Polydryer a few days ago, and I thought I would share my findings with you. Stay tuned. So I've got my Polydryer set up here, and I've got two temperature probes in it. One is toward the back of the unit where the hot air is coming out of the dryer. The other is toward the front of the unit where the air recirculates from the dryer. And as you can see, they're both starting out at about 78 degrees Fahrenheit. The top one just changed to 79 a second ago. So I'm going to leave this on for a little while because what I want to see is the difference in temperature between the front of the unit and the back of the unit. So the dryer's been on for about 15-16 minutes now. As you can see, the temperature in the back of the unit has gone up to about 106 degrees. It started out at about 77. The temperature in the front of the unit is now 89 degrees. Again, it started out at 77. So clearly it's indicating that the back of the unit where the exhaust is from the heater on the Polydryer is certainly heating up a lot more than the front of the unit. You'll also notice that we're at about 28% humidity. We started at 12. I take that to mean that I'm still driving moisture either out of the air or out of the filament itself. But when that happens, I usually like to open up this port here to try and let some of the moisture out. I know you don't have to do that. I like to do it. I found that it's helpful. It helps drive the moisture out a little bit faster. So let's give this a little bit more time and see where we end up. So we've had the unit on for about 40 minutes now. And when I dry my filaments, I usually like to dry my PLA at around 120 degrees Fahrenheit and my PET-G around 140 degrees Fahrenheit. We do have the unit set at the recommended 2 bars for PET-G, but we see that it's only getting up to around 124 degrees at the exhaust. So a little too cool for PET-G, probably about right for PLA, but we can also see that the front of the unit is only at 95 degrees. So there's about a 30-degree difference between the front of the unit and the back of the unit. Actually, kind of a big difference there. What I'm going to do now is stop the dryer. I'm going to set it to 3 bars, let it run for a little while, and then I'm going to see if that brings the dry box up closer to PET-G drying temperatures. So we've had our Polydryer set to 3 bars for about 15 minutes now, and you can see that it has had an effect. The rear of the box is at 134, the front of the box is at 99. Still a pretty significant temperature differential at 35 degrees between the front and the back. And you can even feel that, right? The front of the box is not really very warm at all, whereas the back of the box, if I put my hand there, the back of the box certainly is warm. Good news is we've gotten the temperatures up to something much more appropriate for drying PET-G. Bad news is if you need something hotter than that, if you've got a filament that needs warmer temperatures, this may not be the appropriate solution for you. Now, I admit my probes are probably not in the ideal place, but I think we're probably within about 5 degrees of what the actual temperature inside the box is. Now, what I'd like to do is try a little hack here. I took out this 40 millimeter square box fan, and I'm going to try and stick it up through the exhaust port in the, or I should say the exhaust intake in the back of the dry box. And I want to see if getting that extra circulation helps with either the differential between the front and the back or just the temperature inside the dry box in general. So let me give that a try and see what happens. So about 40 minutes, an hour or so ago, I threw that fan in the back and I tried to position it so that it would blow air from the back of the unit to the front of the unit, since the front didn't seem to be heating quite as well. And I got in a result that I didn't quite expect. We can see here now that the temperature in the front and the back have very nicely equalized, but in point of fact, now the back is a little bit cooler than the front. It seems that perhaps I'm drawing air away from the back too much, or perhaps I'm drawing in cool air from the outside, although I can't feel that. There's no seal around the bottom here, but it doesn't feel as if I'm sucking in any kind of cool air from the sides, but perhaps that's what's going on. So good news, I was able to equalize the temperatures. Bad news, I seem to have lost about 14 degrees or so in the back. So what I'm going to try next is to actually print some sort of a holder for the fan so that I can get it into a more optimal position, and let's see how that works. Okay, so I've slightly repositioned my sensors, and I also had a desiccant pod in the rear of my dry box. I took that out to make a little bit more room to position the fan, and I've positioned it a little bit better so that the fan is actually pretty much toward the back of the dry box and it's blowing air forward. So as you can see, we have a little bit better heating, or the temperature reading in the back is a little bit better than it was. Again, I attribute that to repositioning the sensors. Same for the reading in the front. It's still about a 28, 29 degree differential. Before it was about a 35 degree differential. So still fairly significant differential between the front and the back. Not as bad now. As I said, I think it's because of the placement of my sensors. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my fan on, and I'm going to see how that affects the temperature in the box. Okay, so we're back. It's been about 20 minutes now, and as we can see from the temperature probes, the temperature difference now is about, what is this, 19 degrees? A far cry from the original 35 degrees or even the 28 degrees I saw after that. So we're down to a 19 degree differential. Temperature in the back of the dry box is good. 136 would be nice for a few degrees hotter, but that's okay. Temperature in the front of the dry box, certainly better than it was. Not really where I'd like to see it, but certainly better. Not sure if I would leave this fan in as a permanent solution or just go back to what I mentioned in the beginning, which was halfway through the drying cycle, just rotating the box. But anyway, up to you guys to decide how you're going to handle this. I think that's going to be the end of my review for today of the Polymaker Dry Box. So from 3D Part Factory, happy printing, and thanks for watching our video.